Good morning, everybody. Gediminas here. Welcome along this morning. Thanks for joining us live here on the webinar. Today's topic is time management for successful life, and this is probably one of the least liked topics in self-development for people, but probably one of the most important ones, because it can impact our life so much. Because time management is really disciplining yourself to do more and to manage your time better. Because if you think about it, whether somebody is a millionaire or whether somebody is absolutely broke, they both got 24 hours in a day. The only difference is what they do with that time. And of course, if we can do better things with our time, then of course we will get the better results in our life as well. And time is something that you can't get more of. We, like Jim Rohn says, you can get more money, but you can't get more time. Once you spend a day, you have one day less to spend. So you cannot get it back. You can't get back. So this way we have to absolutely treat it very, very carefully and value it very much. And also something that some of you might have seen already when I put up a topic saying, don't start your day before it's finished. Now, for a lot of people, they think, what does that mean? How that even works? Because, but this concept, again, I got it from Jim Rohn, and the way he puts it is he says, look, before a hotel is built, it's actually finished in somebody's head. It's actually finished on a project, sheet. Somebody has drawn the whole thing inside out. They know how, big it's going to be or how small it's going to be, except before they even start building. If you started building a building and somebody asks you, oh, how is it going to look when it's finished? And you go, I don't know, I'm just building it. Then it would be very, very strange, wouldn't it? So exactly the same way with our time. We shouldn't be starting our days before they are finished. We shouldn't be starting our months before they are finished. And that's why, time management, planning ahead, all of these things are so important in running a business. Because, again, many of you aspire to become business people, business persons, and very often people go, instead of going from employed to a business owner, they go from employed to unemployed because they don't even know what to do with their time. When they go to job, they have a structure, they have a boss who's nagging them, who's telling them what to do, how to do it, when to do it, etc. When they start working for themselves, they seem to be absolutely lost and confused and have no idea how to manage their time, how to manage their workload, and what to do with their days. And one of the things I picked up from Tom Hopkins, who's very famous in direct selling, he always goes, many of the self-employed people, they pretend to work. They go, I just got up and got dressed. That's just like working. I just got in a car and drove somewhere. That's just like working. I sat behind some desk, and that's just like working, right? But the real work starts when obviously you're in front of a client or you're in front of a business prospect. Basically, the work you do that will actually benefit you financially or will grow your business and add to your business in one way or another. So very often we do lots of different things that feel comfortable and feel very nice, and it's pleasure to do them, but they don't actually affect our business. And then the things that are not so comfortable, maybe not so nice to do, that require more discipline and more time management, we're sometimes reluctant to do them. So that's why time management is probably the best thing to learn and to start practicing. And it's not easy when you first get started, but if you just do it, after some time you'll see some great results. You'll see, and you will be more happy with your days as well. When the day is finished, you'll go, wow, how much I have achieved, how much I've planned ahead, etc. So without the further ado, let's get started. I will try and share the PowerPoint slide, so hopefully you will be able to see that. So let me just go into that. All right, let's put that start. All right, so in theory, you should be able to see my screen now, and you should see in front of you time management by Gediminas Grunavich. So let me just put that down for 2 seconds and see if you guys actually seeing it. All right, so you should be seeing it. Okay, that's great. Okay, so let's come back up. Okay. Okay, so let me put that on. We do have a chat, so if you guys can't hear me or you can't see something, you can type into the chat, etc. And hopefully I'll see what you're typing. All right, but let's put those slides up. Okay, so hopefully you are able to see that. All right, so let's start with time management. So time management is basically self-discipline in action. And that's really what it all boils down to. It's disciplining yourself to really manage yourself and manage your time. So number one to time management, of course, are goals. And goals are very, very important because, again, one of the comparisons I read ages ago, and it really, really stuck to my mind, was saying that goals are like in football. You have a pitch, you have the football players, you have the ball, and then you have two goals on each side of the field. Now, if you took the goals away from that game, then it would become very, very ridiculous. It would be just 10 people running around, with the ball pointlessly. So exactly the same way in our life, the goals that we set to ourselves are like the goals in the football game. It gives us direction, it gives us an idea where we're working towards and what we're trying to achieve, etc. Because so many people, they just go through life with no even slightest idea what they want to achieve, what they expect to achieve by the end of the month, by the end of the year, etc. So goals are very, very important, and there's few different types of goals, including personal and family goals, business and financial goals, and self-development goals. Again, very often people just think about the business and financial goals, but they forget about the personal and the family and self-development goals, which again helps us to feel fulfilled. It helps us to feel good about ourselves and our lives if we're working not only on a job, but we're working on ourselves as well. Yeah, and also there is different types of goals in terms of activity goals, results goals. Yeah, because again, a lot of people, they set themselves the results goals only. They say, I will earn this amount of money by this time. I will achieve this level by that time. I will do this by that time. But that's really the result goal. But also we can have activity goals where somebody might say, well, I will contact 10 people per day. To invite to look at my business opportunity, or I will contact, I will offer the products to 15 people a day. That's an activity goal, so it's not a result there. It doesn't matter what's the result of that, but it's just the activity of doing that same thing over and over again. And sometimes it's actually more discouraging to have results goals, because if you don't achieve the result, then you feel, I haven't achieved that goal. But if it's activity goal, it's a lot easier to achieve it, and you feel a lot better when you do it. Yeah, so let me just close that down. Okay, so this way, the results goals and the activity goals, and also in all areas of your life, so including your personal, family, business, financial, and self-development. And these goals have to be in writing. You have to write them down. And sometimes people will look at that, they go, oh, I know what I want to achieve. But it's also important to write them down, because that helps you to work towards it, and your mind just focuses on it better. Next thing is plans of action. And again, this is again something that you can do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, where you can plan your week ahead, your day ahead, your month ahead, your year ahead. And again, that will obviously correspond to your goals, but also with the things that you'll just have daily things to do. So that might be smaller tasks, etc., that you need to achieve. But if you put them down in advance, then this way it will help you to achieve those things, and it will help you to follow through with that. Okay, number 3 is analysis. So making a list, what you have to do the next day, and just analyzing it and looking at it, how it's going to work out, what will you have to do, how will you have to achieve it. And it's also prioritizing. You have to prioritize what has the biggest value, in terms of your business, in terms of your personal life, in terms of your self-development. So sometimes we'll have 20 tasks for the next day, but some of them will be more important than others, and that's why we always say you have to get the most important things out of the way first before you do things that are not that important. So again, and the easiest way probably in the business life is just to say what will earn me the most money, because if you do something that will not affect your life at all, or will not affect your business or results or the income at all, then it really doesn't make sense to do that. But if it's something that will really impact then that should be the first thing on your list to do, etc. Now the next thing is number 5 is concentration and doing tasks straight away. Not leaving it, coming back, leaving it, etc. If you leave it, it can take up to 500% time longer. So it's really, really important if you start a task to finish it off right away instead of just dropping it, coming back to it, dropping it, coming back to it, because that is probably one of the things that slow people down in the business as well, because they know they have to do something and they start doing it a little bit, then they wait a few days, then they start to do a little bit more, and it is very, very ineffective to do that. So choose most important task first, do it fully, then go to the next task, do it fully. It's rather to do less tasks but do them fully than to start 10 million jobs in a day and not finish either one of them. And then there are lots of different sorting ways for your tasks. Like here you have the A, B, C, D, E, which A is a must do, B is a should do, C would be nice to do, D delegate, and E eliminate. So of course, again, you can arrange your tasks by this, and then you'll know obviously which ones to do first, which ones to delegate to other people, etc. Number 7 is deadlines and rewards, and again, we've got this Pareto principle, or what they call the 80-20 rule, which basically states that 20% of the things you do will have 80% impact on your life, and the other 80% of the things that you do will only have 20% impact on your life. And that's not something that you can change or rearrange. It's just the way it is. Supermarkets know that 20% of products in the supermarket will bring 80% of income for the supermarket, and the other 80% will just be taking the space on the shelves, and they will not be doing that well, etc. And that's something is natural, and it happens. But again, in terms of your daily tasks, then it helps you to really set deadlines and work towards what is the most important. And we have what we call a forcing system, which is also very good because it works very well in business. It's basically telling others that you will complete or achieve something. You see, if you say to yourself, "Oh, I have to do this tomorrow," and then you don't do it, well, you only let yourself down, right? So it doesn't matter that much, and it's so easy to do that. However, if you commit to your sponsor, to your team members, you say, "Oh, I'm going to do this training tomorrow," or "I'm going to achieve this level by the end of the month," then you already told other people, and you are a lot more than committed, to do that, and you are a lot more, responsible than to fulfill that task or to achieve that particular thing. And also, otherwise, we've got what we call a Parkinson's law, which is basically same like the disease. It slows everything down, and we start forgetting things that we need to do. So it's always better to do it, to force yourself in and to do it straight away. Also, we have something here that I put down as a beware of people who are going nowhere and they want company, because most people who are going nowhere, they want friends. They're actively recruiting, and they will recruit you too. So you have to be careful, of people who don't have any goals, who don't have any direction, because it's so easy to get around, to become, in a circle of people like that. Then you forget that you need to set goals as well, etc. So it's very important to spend your time around people who are also goal-oriented, who business-oriented, who want to achieve the same things you want to achieve in life, who will encourage you and not put you down. And then number 8 is time log, and that's something that you do afterwards. So again, like Jim Rohn says, spend an hour at the at the end of the week, spend a day at the end of the month, and spend maybe a couple of days at the end of the year reviewing your time, what have you achieved, where your time went, weekly, daily, etc. And then this way you can actually work out where sometimes your mistakes are, where perhaps you should invest more time in, and where perhaps you were investing too much time in and it didn't actually produce results, etc. So it's so important to look back and learn from the past mistakes, from the past successes, etc. Because sometimes people say, "Oh, I've got 20 years experience," and we say, "No, you have 1 year's experience repeated 20 times." Because the person who keeps doing the same mistakes, the same errors in judgment every year, every day, every month, and then they are surprised. Why are they not getting the results they want? Why are they not, achieving the levels, the income, the rewards that they should be achieving? But it's very important to learn from your own experience and to review it. Most people don't do that. They just go through the weeks and they go, oh well, I didn't achieve anything this week. Let's just see what happens next week. Instead of actually looking back and saying, so what gone wrong? If I wanted to achieve this level by the end of this month and I haven't achieved it, what gone wrong? What happened? That it didn't work out. Can I actually fix it? Is it in my control to change something to improve that? And then number 9 is procrastination. And of course, procrastination is something where we keep putting things, for later time. We keep putting things for later time. And of course, we have negative procrastination and positive procrastination. Negative, of course, is the one we all know, where we have some important things we need to do and we just keep putting them away. We don't actually get around to do it. Well, with positive procrastination is actually putting away things that are not that important. So we give examples of things like, a barbecue. Let's say this Saturday you've got, some of your friends are throwing in a barbecue, and at the same time you've got some super training, happening. Now, you have two choices. A barbecue will be very, very pleasurable, but probably is not going to bring you too much result. If you go to the training, that will be, more business event. However, that could bring you a lot more results. So a positive procrastination would be to procrastinate the barbecue, maybe, put it away for another day, etc., because something else is more important. And we always say that both successful and unsuccessful people procrastinate. Only successful people do what they call pre-planned procrastination. What it means that they decide when they're going to do nothing, and they do it very, very well, but they plan ahead. Whereas, people who are not successful, they procrastinate every single day. And also, in order to do the tasks straight away, what is very helpful is to break the task into smaller pieces. I get some really big projects that I do in the business, and sometimes the whole task is so overwhelming. You think, where do I even start, and how is this going to even be possible? But if you break that task into smaller pieces, okay, so for me to get to that next level, I need to do this, and then to the next level I need to do that, and for the next level I need to do that. And this way you break the task into smaller pieces, and it's a lot more manageable. So one day you can do one piece, next day you can do the second piece, third day you can do the third piece, and this way it's easier to complete the task. Number 10 is delegate. And again, some people, say if you want to do it right, you have to do it yourself, right? But that's probably the worst thinking and the least effective thinking, especially in business, because if you're doing everything yourself, then it's going to be very, very difficult to expand your business, to scale your business up, and to really to increase it. Because at some point or the other, there are certain tasks that are not that important and can be done by less qualified people than you. If you're running the whole business, you're not going to be now going and washing, or cleaning the offices, because that's really not the best use of your time. So certain things, even in your own daily basis, you can think of what you can delegate. And I always use the car washing example. I always used to wash the car myself, and it would take me like an hour or 2 hours to clean the whole car, vacuuming it and all of that, etc. And it was a lot of my time. Then I realized that if I take the car into one of the hand car washes just outside my house, it'll cost me like £10, but those guys will do it in like 15 minutes. This way, it saves me a lot of time, and in those 2 hours, I probably can earn more than the £10. So this way, it is more cost-effective and time-effective for me to delegate that job to somebody else in order to obviously save my time, because I can use it for better things. And also you have to be clear. Is the task that you're delegating, is it the right person that you're delegating it to? And you have to be very clear and explain to that person what has to be done. And then obviously you need to check afterwards if they've done that task correctly. So same in your business, all the things that you do in your business right now, everything, literally everything can be delegated to somebody else. That's why, especially in network marketing, we always say that, if you're not very good at recruiting, what do you need to do? You need to recruit somebody who's good at recruiting. If you're not very good at presenting, then you need to recruit somebody who's good at presenting. If you're not very good at I don't know, time management, recruit somebody who's very good in time management, and will help you with that, etc. So this way you can actually delegate certain tasks to other people who might be better than you at those things, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, number 11 is meetings. And again, in business we have millions of meetings all the time, and it's quite easy to get lost, in that business where we start having meetings for the sake of having meetings and not much gets achieved. So when you're hosting meetings, it's very important to have a clear guideline. So first of all is obviously what's the purpose of that meeting. Before the meeting even happens, you need to know what's the purpose of that meeting, and the people attending your meetings should know what is the purpose of that meeting. We're not just meeting for the meeting, but we're meeting for some sort of a purpose. And then time, dash investment. Time is money at the end of the day. So if you investing your time in that meeting, is it going to produce? Is it going to pay off? And that's why you have to treat it as an investment. You need to have an agenda in advance, so when you get there, you're not just talking to talk. You actually have an agenda, and you know what you need to cover first, and what what are the most important things that should go first. No irrelevant talk, and start on time, finish on time. The worst thing you can do with your business opportunity meetings, with your trainings and all the other things, is start late because some people are running late. Because if you start your meetings late, that means you're punishing people who got there on time, and you're rewarding people who got there late. So it doesn't make any sense to do that. So always start your meetings on time and finish them on time. You will see that people will appreciate that, and you will actually discipline your team members and other people in your business to be there on time, because they will know next time if they're not there for the start of the meeting, they will miss half of the stuff. And number 12 is eat that frog. And this is one of my favorite concepts about time management, and that comes, of course, from Brian Tracy. And basically, he gives this example where he says, look, imagine that this scenario that you get up in the morning and you have lots of tasks for today, but one of the tasks is to eat a frog, right? Now, it's not the nicest thing to do, and it's not the tastiest thing to do, right? But there is no way out of it. You have to eat that frog, yeah? There's no way. You can't get out of that. You can't delegate that one, So you have to eat that frog. And he says, when do you think would be the best time to eat the frog? And of course, if you start thinking about it, what would be a best thing? If you're just sitting there and watching at that frog, is not going to make things easier, and it's not going to be better. So really, the best time to do that is straight after you got up, you eat the frog, and you get over with it, right? So exactly the same way, the frog actually represents the tasks that you might not feel comfortable doing, you might not like doing, but the most important tasks that will actually affect your business the most and that will earn you most of the money, right? So you have to sort of treat them like that frog. You got up in the morning and you get those things done first, and then you do everything else, that might not be that important. And if you have two frogs, one ugly and one beautiful, you have to eat the ugly one first, right? So get over, done with things that are most important first. Number 13 is punctuality. And punctuality is something that for some people it's natural. For other people, they have to really work on it because they're always late. They're very, very bad at being punctual. And that's really something that shows your competence. If you keep coming late, if you keep turning up late to meetings and trainings and stuff like that, it just shows lack of competence, and sometimes it's even insulting, because that shows that you're not respecting other people's time as well. So I always have a a motto saying better half an hour early than 5 minutes late, but it's really something that you need to work on, because it just shows the respect you show to the other person's time, etc. And also it gives you time to prepare and think of what you're going to say, especially if it's like a business opportunity meeting. This way, if you come there early, you can sit down, prepare yourself, think what you're going to say, how you're going to present your business. But if you're late there, then that's it. You've got no time to think. The person is sitting there and they're expecting you to start talking straight away. And then number 14 is lack of concentration, and we all are guilty of that sometimes. But one of the things I always say, that the bluntest pencil is sharper than the sharpest mind. So always write things down. It's so easy to forget stuff when you don't write it down. So always have your diary, or always have your journal, or always have some sort of a notebook with you, and you take notes. If somebody books a meeting with you, you take a note. If somebody says, I give you some important information, you make a note. If you have a phone call with somebody and they give you some important information, you make a note. So this way you never forget it. You have it written down, etc. And for me personally, even the actual process of writing something down helps me to remember it better. Okay, and then number 15 is works and simplification. What you always must think in your business is, how can you do things cheaper, faster, better, easier, and they would last longer, etc. And this way, you will make your business more efficient, more productive, and do things right the first time. Because if you do something willy-nilly just to get it done, and then you do it wrong, then you have to start it all over again and have to redo the whole thing again. So it's better to do it right the first time, take a little bit longer, but do it better, than just do it anyway. And teamwork in that respect is very, very good. We always say 2 heads are better than 1 and 3 heads are better than 2. So always try and do joint tasks. Get together with your sponsor, get together with your team members, brainstorm, discuss how would be the best way to go ahead with that thing or the other thing, etc. Because few heads will decide always better than just one. And learn to say no to things that are not important, that are irrelevant for your business, for your life, because some things are just simply eating up your time, and that's what's causing you not to become successful. I give the example of television, and as Jim Rohn says, he says, how much does your television cost? And somebody goes, oh, £200-300, and he goes, no, not to buy it. How much does owning it cost you? Because for most people, owning a television will cost about £10,000, £20,000, £30,000 a year. Why? Because of all the time we spend in front of it. An average person spends loads of time in front of television, and that time could be spent earning the money. So whatever time they spend in front of television, that's the money lost. That's the money. And some people, if you have few of these habits, that eating up your time, then you actually start losing more money than you're making. And that's really, really unfortunate. And then uninterrupted time. 3 hours in the morning. Train journeys, lunch breaks, and stuff like that. Try and find spaces of time where you can work uninterrupted, because for those of us who have children, for those of us who got other things in life, it's so easy to get distracted and to get busy with other things. So for me personally, evening time or nighttime works very, very well when the kids are asleep, when everybody, when the home is quiet. I can do a lot more than in the daytime when it's havoc at home, etc. So it's really, really important to find that time where you can work uninterrupted, because you can do a lot more in the same space of time. Number 17 is learn more. Like Jim Rohn says, invest in yourself more than you do in your job. Because if you work on your job, you can earn a living. If you work on yourself, you can make a fortune. Now, earning, having a job and earning a living is humble, but earning, working on yourself and making a fortune is exciting, and that's why I'd rather wish you to work on yourself more than you do on your job, to become somebody you've never been, in order to have things that you've never had. So 1 hour every day invested in yourself is just absolutely amazing if you can do that. Read a book, listen to audio CD in your car, have a watch a video on YouTube or something like that. Keep investing in yourself, keep sponging all of that thing into yourself, keep collecting the knowledge, etc. Because a good idea rarely interrupts you. So you have to mine for them. You have to develop the mental machinery for that, to work on that, to keep looking for the next good idea, keep looking for the better way of doing business, etc. And then number 18 is telephone. You have to learn how to operate a telephone, and how to be professional on it. So many people are, in business and they don't even have a voicemail. How ridiculous is that? So if somebody's calling you, they're interested in your business, they can't even leave your voicemail saying, look, I'm interested, call me back. And again, telephone can take a lot of your time, so you have to be fast on it, straight to the point, getting off it. If a person, you start seeing that the conversation is not going where you want to go, you just say, I've got another call, sorry, I've got to go. It's not to be rude, but it's just really to save your time and to be really on point. And beware of the time wasters, like I said, because some people will just, they haven't got anything to do, and they just want you to keep the company. And keep good notes when you're on the telephone, because again, if you call like 10, 20, 30 people in a day, by the time you finish, you'll forget what you was talking with the first person. So it's very good to take notes in order, to remember what you were talking to the person. And then number 19 is key result areas. Very often people go, oh, I'm stuck in my business. I don't know what to do next. I don't know where to go next and what to work on next. And I always say it's very, very simple. What you need to think of is, what are you being paid for in your business? What results are expected from you in your business? What results will bring more money into the business? because all of those things are the core function of the business, right? If you know those things, just work on them. Don't get distracted. Just work on the things that pay you the money in your business. And batching tasks. We have what we call the learning curve, and we say the more times you do the task, the less time it takes to do it, because you become better at it. So always say, you need to batch your tasks. So do similar things at once. If you need to call a bunch of people, call all of them in one go. If you need to work on computer, do all of the tasks on computer in one go, because if you just keep doing one of each, etc., it's harder. If you batch the task, if you do similar things together, this way it increases your productivity and it speeds things up. And the last thing is neatness. Clean up your work environment. It improves your productivity by 20 to 40%. So toss things away that you don't need, refer other things to somebody else, act on the action file on the things that you need to do straight away, and file the other things for the future. And lastly, of course, enjoy the time you will save. Okay, guys, so that is our training. Let me just try and get out of it. Okay, so where are we? Alright, so let's take that off. Okay, fantastic. So I think our training is done. Now let me just quickly go into the chat. If you have any questions, you can post them in the chat, and I will try and answer them for you guys. Or anything else not even to do with this training. If you have any questions, feel free to pop in the chat box. If you guys are live, just let me know. Fantastic, guys. Okay, so can you guys see the chat box? That's the chat. Okay. Okay, guys. I can't see any questions coming up, so I think this was pretty much self-explanatory. Thanks, guys, for attending. We'll finish here for today, and then we'll see you guys in the next webinar. Fantastic. Have a great day, and bye for now.